This is a screencast on the rhetorical situation. The rhetorical situation, in the broadest sense, refers to the circumstances that a writer takes into account when he or she responds to the call to write. There are 6 elements of the rhetorical situation: the writer, audience, purpose, genre, mode, and visual design. Before we get into those elements, I'd like to introduce you to one other term that truly embodies the rhetorical situation, and that is exigence. Exigence is the urgency that takes place when someone feels the call to write. So whenever you just know you have to write something or you have to respond to some situation, that is a sense of exigence. The writer is the first key thing to think about when encountering the rhetorical situation. The writer may be someone else if you're critically reading, or yourself. If you're reading someone else's work, a quick Google search will tell you a lot about the person. You can learn of any biases, their socioeconomic status, education level, religious or political affiliations. You want to think about who is the writer, what other publications have they written for, in short, what are their credentials, and why do we trust this writer? The context that the writer is composing in is also important. What's happening in the world when this is written? For example, if someone was writing a commentary about 9/11 in 2001, their tone, language, and the way they approach the subject would be very different than if someone were writing a commentary about 9/11 today. You want to think about how the writer responds to the rhetorical situation. What is his or her call to write? The audience is also incredibly important. Having good audience awareness is key to being a successful writer. Consider, who is the intended audience? Who is this being written for? Who is going to read it? Who is being addressed, and how do you know? What kind of language is being used, and how is that tailored to the audience? Also, consider any unintended or imagined audiences. In today's world, texts, written, audio, visual, digital, often end up in places we never thought they would. So who else might encounter this text? What are some unexpected audiences? Purpose is incredibly important when writing. Why is this piece being written? Why is this piece being read? The content of the piece, so it's actually being written. The words, the statement, the idea, the argument, and the context, the moment or space in which the content is being written, are interrelated. You want to think about the content and the context when you think about the purpose. Once again, what is this text supposed to do? What is the exigence? And how does that relate to the writer's purpose? I hope you can see that these terms are all interrelated. The purpose affects the audience, and the audience affects the purpose. Genre is a really important term for writers. It is also widely misunderstood. Many people think of fiction, nonfiction, and poetry when I say the word genre. But really, genre is much more than that. It can be applied to many types of writing. The writing on your t-shirt is a genre. A bumper sticker is a genre. A letter, a research paper, a memo, a fact sheet. These are all types of genres. We could go on and on. A genre is born from a moment. It is when social action is taken in response to recurring needs. So for example, the genre of the email comes out when people want to communicate in a really quick way. Certain rules or conventions are born out of each genre. We expect certain things from genres. Research papers are expected to have thesis statements. Emails are expected to have openings and salutations. If you wrote me an email and you didn't say hi or dear cat, I would feel weird about it. I subconsciously would feel like you didn't truly understand the genre. You want to think about what is called for in the genre before you move forward with any writing project, before you respond to any rhetorical situation. Really consider, what is this genre and what is it asking me to do in the world? Mode, also important. Mode refers to the presentation of the text. So how it is given to the audience. Many modes today are multimodal, meaning they work in more than one mode. So there is alphabetic text, which you're very used to writing for school. An image is a mode. Oral text is mode. Gestures are modes. Digital is a mode, and gustatory is a mode. Presentations like TED Talks or PowerPoint presentation combine modes. So in a PowerPoint presentation, you have your own oral speech, you have gesture, and you have the slides in the background that most likely contain alphabetic text and images. It may even have a digital component or a video component. That makes the text truly multimodal. This text is also multimodal. It has images, visual, and alphabetic text. When you're composing, you want to ask yourself, what mode am I writing in? What mode is appropriate? Should this piece be multimodal? Visual design is also very important and perhaps something you didn't think that you would consider in a writing classroom. When you think about visual design, you want to think about how you present the information to the reader, or what I call information distribution. Should you use images? Should you use charts? What colors should you be using, or should the text be in black and white? Going back to genre, a research paper is often expected to be in black and white, so you would follow that convention and design as such. Other times, we must use design in a different way. For example, if you were making a brochure, you would be expected to have images, to have different types of typeface, or what we call font, and you would be expected to engage your reader through a visual element. You want to think about what visual design is appropriate for your genre, and what visual design embodies your purpose. Once again, thinking about how all these elements are interconnected. Ask yourself, what type of visual design would my audience want? What type of visual design is necessary for my mode? That's a quick overview of the rhetorical situation. I hope it helps you understand this key term. Consider all 6 of these elements when encountering any writing situation, whether in this class or in other writing spheres.